there's also things like that slow walking or not slow walking, but the slow travel and the lack of like a what do you call it, group finder, like an
Mhm.
automatic teleport you to where you're supposed to be going group finder. I think that also brings a lot more importance, especially when you're trying to converge for things like the castles and stuff. um, and Nick actually has uh, a post here about sieges at level 50, and said that we've got new info that mobs in the castles will be level 50 or like plus, which means that yet another big part of the game is only reserved for late game, just as freeholds are, instead of being accessible throughout the game. What are your thoughts on that? And I didn't get that impression, I'm going to be honest, but I'm going to elaborate more on that later. But just what are your thoughts on that?
I think it go. Yeah, I still hold the point that like people need to really zoom out about how they view Ashes of Creation. That like I read that post and I felt that there was some sort of like FOMO in like his perspective, but there really shouldn't be. Like
Yeah.
when you're approaching things like castle sieges and stuff like that, and you have to be level 50 for like end game content and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine because it's not a rush to who gets there first. It's who has it last. So you may take a year to hit level 50 and the first guild to get it might be there at like 3 weeks in, whatever. But like once you hit that end game content, you have just an equal amount of choice and chance to take that back. So I think when people bring up like how things are going to exist at launch, I don't think it's going to be a very sustainable perspective, and I don't think Ashes or Intrepid should take that perspective. I definitely think that they should be thinking about 5-10 years into the future, not the first year of launch.
Yeah.
So I agree with you to a point, but I also have some disagreements on that. Like, I think that content to be done and content to experience could absolutely be time and level gated. If it's just another dungeon, if it's just another raid, and there are dungeons and raids all the way up through the levels or what have you, if it's just another biome and it's just another environment to experience, absolutely, like, level gate the bejeebus out of that. Like, have people have a progression. But when it comes to core features of a game, like freeholds, like castles that are going to be warred over by guilds and such like that, those I feel should have a little bit more openness to them, or else it is going to create the impetus of I must get up there, because it's not so much who, in my mind, it's not so much who holds it last as far as who holds it the longest, because there's going to be taxes taken out of all the activities people do, all the sales, all the purchases, all of the, you know, the money that's earned, stuff like that. It's going to be gathered up by castles and by nodes, and everything that's under their ZOI. It's going to be collecting money and doing things and accomplishing stuff. And whoever has it the longest is going to come out ahead.
I actually love that you disagree with me, because it allows for these types of conversations. So
I love disagreements, to be honest. As long as they're not like violent disagreements, I'm okay, because I've changed my mind quite a few times just listening to people talk. So it happens.
And I guess as a rebuttal for that, the node system is a way. But first, you said who should hold it. It's who blah, 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 blah. Words are hard right now. Thanks for all the cheers, guys.
Good job. Keep it up.
Good job. It is who holds it the longest, which is why things like taxes and stuff like that is such a pivotal aspect of the node system. Because if you are poorly mismanaging your tax system and not being a good leader, I don't think you'll hold on to that node for very long, which means that the people that have freeholds to that node can also be subject to attacks on that, and their freeholds will be at risk. So maybe they're part of the attack. Maybe they get up and leave and attack that node so that they can change that mayor so that they can, put their freehold down with a better leader or something like that. There are so many different ways this can go where you are using these systems so that you can properly use your freehold the way that you want to. Or if you are late to the party and you haven't got a freehold, maybe you do some of social engineering and try to take down that node so that you can get a freehold later, or you join a power node just to attack someone else so that you can join that rebuilding node.
Yeah.
And you know what, I also have another opinion that just developed while you were talking, and that's those who owned freeholds should probably have a stronger voting power in the government.
Yeah, maybe,
because they have some property and more skin in the game, as I just read in Grim Liberty's statement there, so it's stuck in my head. But also just the amount of time, effort, money, and luck that it's going to take to hold a freehold. I think that dedication to choose a node and legitimately put a ton of money into something like that, it should give a little bit more voting power on whatever decisions can be made. Very feudal, yes, but it's a big risk to even buy a freehold, apparently.
But yeah, I wanted to say my thoughts on the thing is, well, what if it? Do you guys have both played? Well, I know Virtek has, but Lloyd, you played World of Warcraft?
Yeah, I played it, not like at a really high level, but I've definitely played it.
Do you remember like Ganon in the Orgrimmar? As a rogue, you're supposed to pickpocket him.
Oh yeah.
So for me, making all the mobs level 50, I don't agree or disagree with either of you necessarily. It's just a whole other take. Making the mobs level 50 in the castle is kind of akin to when they beefed him up because people kept killing him. So it takes more effort to take down the castle to earn the castle in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, you have to somehow take over this castle, and then from there you have to take the castle from somebody else. And would you not want to send your strongest, most abled people to be the guards of a castle?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know about because they're just NPCs at first when the castles are unguarded, and I don't know if that's what they're worried about, is that just because it's level gated by time and not everybody shares the same amount of time, that the castle will be easier to take for the people that just get there faster, which is fair. But at the same time, it's like those people probably just put in more time at the start and have that ability to. So, I mean, if you're really attempting to get something like a castle at a really high competitive level, maybe you do need to do that at, whatever level that is just putting in that amount of time by either taking off work or whatever that these people do to get there. That'll never be me. I won't be the owner at the start of a castle, but I'll definitely try to get there at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think there's a variety of things that we can go, but I think all of this is also subject to testing, as we go through Alpha 2. Again, don't play Alpha 2. It will feel like playing. It's great if it feels like playing, but it's actually testing. Just a reminder, it is testing. Take a shot every time Steven says that too. But yeah, I think honestly, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of things that can change. There's a lot of things that they need us in game to test in masses in order to see how well a system works. Mm-hmm. Because I can imagine as Intrepid is getting close to 200, 300 people now, that's still nothing compared to the thousands of us waiting to get into Alpha 2.